Chair Powell sets off gigantic fireworks. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, August the 24th, and of course, Friday in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Chair Powell gave his speech and he set off a massive chain reaction of, I'm not going to say bullish news, but the markets exploded higher on the talk of potential rate cuts that they're talking about for the September meeting. One of the things I don't understand is why such the excitement of rate cuts if it was not a short squeeze or a short covering rally. Remember that the rate cuts that they're talking about do not necessarily help you, the American citizen, the middle class. It helps the banks. And if we go back a year in time, since last September, the Fed funds rate is down 100 basis points. The 10-year notes are up 100 basis points, which means that you're paying more. The banks are paying less, which means their spread is bigger. So once again, I ask you, does that give you any confidence in what the Federal Reserve is doing? Okay. And of course, one of the Fed presidents, a Muslim, says that more data needed to decide if there's going to be a rate cut. Well, again, right now, they're basing it on the pressure from the White House, but they're also basing it on the lousy jobs numbers. And I would suspect that in 10 days, when we come out with the September job or the August jobs, they're probably going to be pretty bad as well. I think we're seeing an economy that's in decline. Again, markets go up, it doesn't matter. I mean, we had mostly a down week, but markets go up, it doesn't matter. They don't always have to be with the economy. And I would suspect there will be a rate cut because I think jobs are bad. I don't agree with the rate cut. I don't think that has anything to do with it. But at the end of the day, the markets loved it, and of course they took off. And what we'll find out this week, and of course it's not maybe this week because this is one of the slowest weeks of the year coming, the week before Labor Day. But we'll see how it all plays out. But based on everything, it looks like they're going to cut rates in September at the September meeting, and we'll see how that plays out. In the meantime, the FBI raided John Bolton's house, Trump's ex-Homeland Security guy. And of course, obviously, they left in a bitter battle, and Kash Patel went in and he says, no one is above the law. Well, I hope that he proves that to be reality, because we know that a lot of people in Washington, D.C. for years have been above the law. Okay. Let's hope that this is really the start of something that says that nobody is really above the law, because we know dirt, whether they be rumor or fact. We know things that have happened, and I think that it would only behoove us to get the best answers, and certainly would love to see all the criminals go down. And of course, woman researcher accused of smuggling biological weapons into the country. Okay. Pleads no contest. Wuhan, that was Wuhan, not woman. Wuhan. Okay. Of course, that was the lab where COVID supposedly started, that chemical warfare that they started with us. Interesting. Woman-only spa seeks rehearing a ninth district admission of admitting a transgender into an all-women's club. Now, I don't know where you stand on that, but I'm against it. Okay. I think when it comes to what you do, membership, okay, if you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a man, you're a man. If you're trans, you're not, you're still a man. Okay. Again, I don't understand it. I think that this has got to stop. Okay. At the end of the day, it's a thing that needs to be corrected, in which you are born biologically. And if you're a woman, do you want a transgender in your locker room? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Okay. The Supreme Court is allowing Donald Trump to revoke the DEI related NIH grants. God bless. That's exactly what should happen. Okay. And, Trump on the lowlife Bolton going first to find out if he leaked classified info. There's probably a high probability that he did. Again, I'm not accusing, I don't know. And in this country, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying he did or he didn't, but it would not shock me. We've already seen a number of instances in this country And that's one of the problems when the power lies in too few. And unfortunately, the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want, whatever you believe in, is at risk. Okay. Um, Now, I think one of the interesting things this week is Robinhood, the trading firm, is bringing out a version of binary options for football, for betting. Okay, which is interesting. It's a yes or no, and it's betting without a point spread, and it's again you can as long as there's a market made. Now I don't know if the market's going to be efficient or successful, but I think it's an interesting an interesting deal. Okay, the concept is good. I think when you look at it, again, it's very similar to peer-to-peer betting. It is very fair. There's with the punters in London, there is they bet against each other, and the house just takes a percentage. Okay, but the house doesn't take risks. So it's interesting. Betfair is there, but there's a lot of places here that are now trying to go to that peer-to-peer, which is again basically what binary options are. So we'll see how that plays out, but it certainly is interesting, and it certainly is the right sport and the right time of the year. Okay. Uh, the 401k expansion that was brought up by President Trump is now allowing more assets to be put in your 401k, including Ethereum. And of course, Ethereum's had a very big week, and there is chatter. Again, nobody can predict, but they're talking about potential 80,000 Ethereum right now. Okay. I mean, again, I'm not going to say I believe in it or I don't believe in it. I believe in the cryptocurrency world. I think there's a lot of ways to play it. And certainly, I wish I owned a lot of Bitcoin, but unfortunately, I don't. But at the end, again, I think the ability to put more things into your 401k and your retirement account is a very good thing for everybody because there are a lot of asset classes that weren't allowed before that now can be used. Okay. Uh, the cost of going to a football, the average cost is up 40%, okay, to go to a football game. 40%. I mean, I don't know how an average family can afford to go. Okay. I think that it makes it very much of a challenge. I think it's sad that we've destroyed it, but of course you see the salaries that these guys are getting, and of course the owners make so much money and they don't want to bring prices down. So the one great owner though for fans is Arthur Blank in Atlanta. Okay. Uh, the fast food chains are really starting to struggle and they're really having to cut into their profit margins because they're trying to get under that magic $10 ticket. I mean, I don't know when the last time you were out for fast food, but even McDonald's is ridiculously priced. I mean, but if you go like to a Five Guys, $22, $23 for one, I mean, that's like going to a restaurant. But many are trying to get under that psychological number. Again, it's very expensive. Again, we go talk about inflation. You can take the inflation numbers that we're getting, and I call bullshit because, again, I don't see the prices coming down. They may not be going up as fast, but they're still going up. And if the Fed does cut rates, then they're going to go up a lot faster. Okay. I think that this is the real conundrum that we're in here. Okay. If you cut rates, it's not good. It's going to spike inflation. Okay. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think that, again, it's going to come back down to the August jobs data and what they come up with there. In the meantime, again, this is going to be a real slow week. I would be very careful from a trading standpoint. There are times in markets to observe. There are times in markets to trade. I think this is a time to observe. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 24th. We're going to step out of a break. We'll come back with our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? I hope everything's well. Hope you have a good holiday week planned. In the meantime, of course, we have sponsors for the show, and they are brokerage sponsors. And again, I have other brokers. So again, full disclosure, I have many different brokers. But at the end of the day, we always want to tell you who we believe is the best for the average trader and the average investor. And of course, TRADIER Brokerage. I mean, the bottom line is it's $10 a month. Okay. Saves me over $100,000 a year in commission. Number two, they will sync up with all of our software. So if you're hedging or whatever. So TRADIER Brokerage is phenomenal. Capital Trading Group for your futures and commodities needs. Very good partner for us. Do a lot of things with us, takes care of our people, takes care of our members, which again, that's all I can ask for. I want the best service I can get. And of course, our high school program, which is, we're trying to help financial literacy. And that ties into our new partnership with the Joy of Mom. It is a new company that we've actually invested in as well. But it's going to bring a lot of things to the moms of the world. And we're pretty excited about that. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 24th, and the markets had a mediocre week last week. Depending on what you looked at, the Dow made all-time new highs. The Nasdaq was lower, the S&P was slightly higher, and the Russell was higher. But it was a pretty mixed week, and of course, everything was down until Friday, when Jerome Powell started talking about rate cuts, and the markets went kablooey and exploded higher. But if you look at it, actually, they basically rallied in the first 20 minutes and really didn't move much from there. Again, look, you can't fight the tape. Dull markets will drift higher. There is an enormous amount of warning signs out there, but there's no point to do anything right now. And if you're a true investor, you should be hedged and never get out, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we carry positions, but we carry positions every day from a short-term perspective. But my long-term positions myself, I don't get out. I'm hedged and I'm always in it. I'm continuing to add to my overall position. So just something to keep in mind, that you just remember the benchmark. This equity markets have gone up 8.5% year over year since the beginning of time, and 10% year over year since 1950. In the meantime, if we look at the markets, we are still short the four major indices. We made a little money last week. The dollar, again, we don't trade the dollar because it's too expensive to trade in through New York. But at the end of the day, if we did trade it, we would be long the dollar. We are short the euro currency. Bonds and notes had a little bit of a rally late in the week. We are flat, both bonds and notes. Bitcoin had a huge rally on Friday. We were flat. Gold had a nice rally on Friday. We are long. Silver had a nice rally on Friday. We are short. Platinum is still churning. Now, we don't trade platinum, but if we did, we'd be long right now. Copper, we are long. Wheat, we're short. Corn, we're long. Soybeans, we're flat. In the cattle markets, we're not even touching those right now. It's amazing. The cattle is like the new Bitcoin. It just keeps going up. It seriously reminds me of the internet bubble in the cattle markets. But again, there's no reason to get in front of it. Hogs continue to struggle. Nat gas has been getting hammered. We don't have a position right now. We're flat nat gas, but I would certainly consider taking a shot here somewhere down in the 260 level. I think that's probably a pretty good play, especially coming into September and October, when you can get those cold snaps, see these prices soar. And crude oil is, again, within our range. Again, we're flat, both natural gas and crude. So again, we're obviously bringing down things. Again, I think that this is a very rough week. I would be very careful if I were going to be active. Your long-term positions, I wouldn't worry about. And again, if you're investing, there's an easy way to hedge it and protect and actually buy more stock when it goes down against you. And that's the things that we like to teach right here at BUBBA Trading. So in the meantime, let us step out for our final break, and we'll come back with, of course, my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, August the 24th. Well, kids, here you go. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. TRADIER Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, our high school program, and the Joy of Mom. Okay, check them out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 24th. And of course, every week I give you a little bit of what I'm thinking. And, I like technology. I mean, I don't really like it, but technology is a necessity. Okay, obviously, for me to do what I'm doing now, for me to work. But overall, I think that we have dumbed down our children with all these smartphones, smart apps, all this AI. I think one of the most important things we can all learn, okay, is that you need to be able to function without the technology. The technology can make your job a lot easier, but God forbid something goes wrong with your technology. How do you live? How do you exist? Okay. And I think that's, I think the smartphones, I think that they dumb down our society. I mean, when's the last time you went and got change somewhere, you paid for a bill and the person couldn't figure out the math? I think we've lost those skills, okay? And I think that it's important that we regain Okay. The ability to think. Okay. I don't think that we as human beings and people should be only dependent on the technology, because again, I think you need to be able to think for yourself. And I do believe that the younger people, the younger generations are not getting the fair benefit, which means that they don't need to learn any common sense. They don't need to learn to think. They need to learn how to push buttons on their computer or on their phones. And I think that that is where we're really missing a wide gap. And I think that takes away a lot of ingenuity when you don't have to think on your own. Okay. And I think that is a very sad transition, which is, of course, why our high school program that we try to get out there is so important. Because again, I'm not against the technology, I'm against the lack of learning. And that's what I see going on in this country. And it makes me sad to see that. But for now, that's the way it is. And that's it for today's Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. And of course, next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line.